0.5 times 10 to the 18th grains of sand on Earth. There are approximately 7 times 10 to the 27th atoms in the average human body. Are there more grains of sand or atoms? How do you know? Remember, when we are comparing numbers in scientific notation, this is a value that's about 7 with 18 zeros behind it, and this is a value that's about 7 with 27 zeros behind it. So if we were looking at something like this, which one has more? Well, obviously the one that has more zeros behind it is going to be bigger. But what happens if we made like 75 versus 700? Just because this one doesn't have a 5 after it over here doesn't mean that that one's necessarily smaller, because the exponent is so much larger. So here, the atoms in the body are more than the grains of sand. Because 10 to the 27th is more than 10 to the 18th. If they're the same, then we compare those numbers out front. But because 27 is larger, we don't have to compare those numbers. 2. About how many times more atoms are in the human body compared to grains of sand on the earth. When it says how many more, we subtract. But when it says how many times more, we divide. So we're going to take the bigger number and divide it by the smaller number. Again, when we divide these, the numbers out front get divided. And since the exponents on these or the bases on those are the same, we get to subtract those exponents. So our answer should be times 10, and then 27 minus 18 is 9, so times 10 to the 9th. It is just saying about. So when we take 7 and divide it by 7.5, those are pretty close to 1. They're pretty close to each other, so it's going to be about 1 times 10 to the 9th times more atoms than sand grains.